Hey everyone, welcome back. So this is, I think, going to be our final video in chapter 33. So in this video, we're going to talk about behaviors that affect fitness. So remember, fitness is the ability to reproduce and pass on your genes. And behaviors can affect your fitness. So behaviors are subject to natural selection. And remember, natural selection, the very I don't know, the thing most people remember is survival of the fittest, right? But it's really survival and reproduction of fit organisms, not fit. Okay. So behaviors, we already said, have a genetic component. They also have environmental components. Certain behaviors, more than others, will promote survival and increase the number of offspring. And you have to have behaviors that have adaptive values. So, territoriality is an example of a behavior that affects fitness. If you have a territory, you have to be able to defend that territory. And so things like the food on the territory are going to be for you. The females in the territory are going to be for you. The sleeping areas in that territory are for you. And of course, for the females that are in that area with you. And that's going to allow you to pass on your genes more effectively. So that would be an example of a behavior that affects your fitness. So territoriality is going to occur more during reproductive times because that's when you really need to pass on your genes. It's going to have a cost. The cost is going to be the energy to fight, to scream, to defend that environment. You have to make sure that the benefits outweigh the cost. If the benefits are less than what it costs, then it's not good for you. Then it's not a good behavior. Your fitness would go down. So here's a male and a female gibbon. They are sharing a task of marking their territory by singing. So this is their territory. They're saying, hey, this is my area, stay away. Foraging for food is another behavior that affects fitness. So we all need food, but there's different types of food and different amounts of food depending on where you're looking, what you're foraging for. So we need to have enough food to give us energy, but if we are spending more energy to find the food, then it's not beneficial. So you have to have the food, right? But you also have to remember that there's energy in finding food and in avoiding the predators. So optimal foraging theory states it is adaptive for foraging behavior and food choice be as energetically efficient as possible. That's what that theory states. So you want to make sure that you get the food, but you release the least amount of energy for the amount of food you're getting. And so here we see mussels, okay? And here's a big old crab. So these crabs eat mussels, and the size of the mussel is going to influence the amount of energy they gain. So large mussels over here obviously are going to give more energy for one mussel, correct? And small mussels over here are going to give less energy. That makes sense. But if you get less energy here, you also spend less energy opening the muscle. So if you have a large muscle, so let's just make this, I'm going to just, there's the muscle shell, right? That large muscle is going to have actual muscle holding the shell closed. If you have a much smaller muscle, it's going to have less, it's going to take less energy to open this shell than this shell. Does that make sense? And if so, good. Because if it doesn't, I can't actually hear you say it doesn't. That being said, you can always ask me about it. So when crabs eat the small mussels, they don't get a lot of energy, but they can open them really quick. If they go for a large mussel, they get more energy from that one mussel, but it takes so much energy that they're actually losing energy. So optimum foraging theory states that the best mussels for them to eat would be in that about 20 millimeter length. So anywhere in that 20 millimeter, maybe 25, maybe 15, but somewhere in there is going to be where you're going to get the best bang for your buck in eating. Another behavior that affects fitness is sexual selection. So this is a type of natural selection that favors features that increase an animal's chances of mating. Features are adaptive in the sense that they can lead to increased fitness. And typically, in most animals, female have the choice. The reason for this is there's a limited number of eggs that can be fertilized, and the female provides parental care. This is not always the case, but again, we're just looking at overwhelmingly the female is the caregiver in most animals. And therefore, females tend to be the choosy ones. Males compete. So their goal is to fertilize as many eggs as possible. They have limited access to females, and so they want that, as many females as possible. And so here you see male. The male is the bird with the large plume. Males tend to be prettier, showier, and they also tend to be the strong ones that fight. Females are the choosy ones. And again, you have little videos you can watch if you'd like. And the last behavior that we'll talk about that affects fitness is societies. So societies formed when living in a large group has a greater reproductive benefit than reproductive cost. So what are benefits to societies? You avoid predators. So in a society, you can actually have watchers that watch outside. They can then send signals to tell everyone else to run. You rear offspring. You can also keep your more vulnerable in the middle of a pack. That's another example of avoiding predators. Rearing offspring. So instead of one animal rearing 5 offspring, now you have a group, a population of animals that live together, a society rearing the offspring. You can find food, so you can have animals that go out and find food. That's their job. Disadvantages, though, are disputes that can occur, and of course, illness. When illness hits, it's going to hit everyone. It's not just going to hit one animal when you live together. So, definitions. Altruism is a social interaction that has the potential to decrease fitness of an individual demonstrating a behavior. So there's different types of altruism. So one form of altruistic behavior is kin selection. So this is a form of altruism in which the behavior is based on the concept that relatives share many genes. And you can see this really well in bee and ant colonies. So these are groups in, I believe it is the order Hymenoptera, and they have such similar genes that sisters actually have more in common to each other than they do to their offspring. Inclusive fitness is fitness that results from a personal reproduction and from helping non-descendant relatives reproduce. So like sisters, again, that would be the example. And so here is a meerkat helping a sister or a sibling. I mean, it would be a sister in the sense that it's babysitting their young. And so this would be inclusive fitness because these offspring have similar genes to the auntie right there, as they do to they have similar to the aunt as well as to their parents. So this is inclusive fitness. Reciprocal altruism then is a short-term reproductive sacrifice made to maximize future reproductive potential. So you're sacrificing now so that in the future you're going to benefit. Examples would be helpers contribute to survival of kin. That would be, again, like the babysitting. Helper more likely to inherit territory. Maybe you help fend off the territory, and then when the dominant animal dies, you inherit that territory. That would be an example. So there is a video here, but I'm going to actually make another Ed puzzle with that video, so you don't have to watch it here because you will see it anyways. You can see reciprocal altruism in humans. Humans are very altruistic. When you help your neighbor or a friend move, or you help your neighbor maybe with fixing something in their house, or you help a friend study for an exam, that's an altruistic behavior. And what you're hoping for is that in the future, when you need help, maybe they'll help you back, okay? So that would be an example of human altruism. I'm going to stop this video. I'll upload it, and I will get all of these pulled through Edpuzzle, and then you guys can watch them. Bye.